Well, we want negotiations, we want a resolution, but way back in May, when we had a ballpark agreement with the council decided to walk away. The council walked away. They took their own offer off the table. But what we've also now got is agency workers being balloted for strike action, voting for strike action and taking strike action today. That's unprecedented. That doesn't happen. When you bring in agency workers to try and break a strike and they actually vote to take strike action themselves, that's unprecedented and historic. That's why the dispute is taking so long to settle. It's escalating. We have more and more support, but the primary reason is because the council have walked away from negotiations. The reason for Birmingham City Council dragging its feet, well, we really have to ask them, because nobody can work out why. It's actually costing them more money to try and break the strike than resolve the dispute. We estimate that so far it's cost them over 20 million to try and break the strike. So if they spent a fraction of that trying to resolve it, we wouldn't still be out on strike. Well, these are political decisions that the council is making, and they're making the wrong political decisions. They talked about equal pay, and what they wanted to do was harmonise downwards, bring people down to the lowest level of pay instead of bringing pay up. We want equal pay as well. We want women to be paid properly, but that doesn't mean bringing men down to the level that women are paid at. Harmonise upwards. That was a political decision, so that was one of the mistakes that they've made. And then they lied. They talked about how much the equal pay claims were going to cost. They talked about over 700 million, and it's turned out to be nowhere near that, not even half of that. So they've simply made the wrong political decisions. They thought that they were going to get bin workers to pay for a crisis of their making, and our bin workers have said no. Well, our bin workers have just had enough and did decide to take voluntary redundancy. Now, nobody was made compulsorily redundant. They took voluntary redundancy because they'd had enough, and also because they recognised that they couldn't work for the salary that the council was putting forward, and they've had to go off and try and find other jobs elsewhere. And with Christmas coming up and with all the extra expense that involves, the fact that we've got workers who are still willing to take strike action over that period to protect their salaries really speaks volumes for the bravery of these guys. I'm not that interested in the political colours of a local authority. What we focus on is our members' pay conditions and our members' jobs. Whatever the colours of the political party, that's down to them. It's about making the right political choices. But on that point, there are council elections taking place in May, and my opinion is that a Labour council, are going to pay a heavy price at those elections. So they need to really think on and act sharp. The Labour government should be telling the Labour council to resolve the dispute. The Labour government, a Labour government, should be telling a Labour council you shouldn't be cutting workers' pay by £8,000 a year. However, we have a Labour government that promised workers' rights. It promised a workers' rights bill. That workers' rights bill has now been watered down to the extent where it's unrecognisable. So we don't have faith in them to do that from us pleading. The reality is that they will be forced to do that by the action that our members are continuing to take. We have a legal mandate for this dispute that takes us up until May of next year. This could be resolved next week. There is an easy resolution to this dispute, but we will defend our members for as long as it takes, because our members are the priority.